Hey out there, thanks for tuning in. Today's video is titled Inside the Mind of a Real Estate Investor. That's me. I got my loan-term sheet from a hard money lender on the newest house that we're doing. We're under contract, the appraiser's going out tomorrow, the Brown House. It's moving fast. I dropped off my deposit check today to the seller's attorney, and I was satisfying the conditions. A loan-term sheet from a hard money lender indicates interest rate, how many points they're charging, the fees associated with the loan, how long the loan is, what else, and different conditions on the loan. Like I had to satisfy a bunch of conditions. One of them is coming up with the deposit money, paying some fees, sending them over paperwork and things like that. As I was going through there, I got a little jolt of I don't know if it's reality, but I said to myself, I make videos about real estate investing. I make them upbeat, try to be positive in every one of them. Love what I do, but I also don't want to sugarcoat stuff, and I want to also tell you another side of real estate investing that maybe I don't say it all the time, and that is fear, stress. Everyone's not doing this because you can get fearful and stressed out. So, the Brown House, thinking out loud. I'm going to tell you the process I go through because I become fearful. I'm not all that, but I have some experience with real estate investing, and I still get almost consumed with fear. Not consumed, I'm still walking through it. But I want to let you guys know, so if you come across this, you guys can get through it too. Buyer's remorse, I made a video about it. Once you have a contract on a house, if you've ever bought a property, you could probably identify with this. Once you have a contract on a house, then you start second guessing yourself. I know I've been on the selling side, and buyers have gotten remorse, and they have walked away as a result of it. They loved the property one day, 3 days later, they've been talking about it, and now they're gone. I still get a tinge of buyer's remorse, and I'm going to show you why. Analysis paralysis, I made a video about that. We can analyze a piece of property so much that we get paralyzed and we don't even move forward. It's a debilitating, stagnated, you get the picture. I almost get there, but not quite. Failure, loser, these are the things at the other side of my mind. The naysayer mind is saying, hey, Harry, you're going to fail at this. You don't know what you're doing. In the end, loser. People are going to say you're a loser. It doesn't come at me directly like that. It's not so clear, but you get the picture. I want to take you through how I think, how I get through it, if I get through it, and putting it down in writing really helps. So let me tell you how I do it. So I'm going to tell you where some of the fear or stress comes from. And I think when I'm saying it out loud, you'll see where it comes from. However, I do have the benefit of being able to talk to some people, talk myself through it with them, and come out the other side, which is nice. And I kind of did that. I'm getting a hard money loan on this deal. I've made a video about hard money lending, and I'm going to tell you the exact terms that I'm getting on this particular deal, the Brown House. It's 9% interest. Yes, today's interest rates are down below 3, and I'm taking 9%. I also have to pay 2 points. If you've watched any of my other videos, I'm not a big fan of paying points. However, with this COVID pandemic thing going on, there's very few lenders out there, and they consider it riskier. This is like my seventh deal with these guys, 7th or 8th. It's 12 months max. I only have this loan for 1 year. They probably would extend it for an additional 3 to 6 months if I pay more points at the end. I don't want to do that because I'm going to run the numbers, my carrying costs in a second. It's about $3,000 or $4,000 worth of fees on top of the points. So when you look at that, if you've never done this before, you'd be like, hey, Harry, why in the heck, would you pay 9% and 2 points when they're going interest rates below 3? You're crazy. I'm walking from this deal, Harry. Well, initially, you might want to say that, but let me run all the numbers and see if you still feel that same way. Because when I first saw this, I was like the same way. Here's another, I'm not going to say negative, but something I thought about, which gave me that buyer's remorse and almost like I didn't really want the deal. All the fees, the costs, the interest rates, and then this. We bought a house, I'm going to call it Sullivan. We still have it. Similar numbers in a couple different ways, except the purchase price. We bought Sullivan for $84,000 with a very similar rehab budget to the Brown house, about $75,000. I got a generous appraisal in the end at $350,000. I really thought, it was about 2 years ago, I really thought that the appraisal should be closer to $310,000, so I'm going to say $350,000, but really probably $310,000, $320,000, somewhere around there. And here's the Brown house. I'm buying it for almost $100,000 more than when I bought Sullivan with a similar rehab budget, and the overall outlook on cash and equity and everything else is $65,000. Still not chump change, right? However, compare that to Sullivan, $190,000. So I started saying to myself, maybe I'll just wait. But wait! I know I've told my kids this before. Sometimes I mistake my feelings, and I think that it's fear when really it's excitement. The two feel kind of similar. However, it's important for me to start writing stuff down, talking out loud to see, is it really fear or is it excitement? And in this case, I'm going to let you in. I'm not going to wait to get to that last second to tell you the final. It's excitement. But before I go on, I just want to tell you, a hard money loan. Here are some of the benefits of using a hard money lender versus a conventional lender. One of the biggest ones, it's fast and there's less documentation. So all the conditions that I had on my loan, my contractor's license, insurance requirements, bank statements, things like that, I was able to send it all over to them today. They're not asking for tax returns, no W-2s. They're not sourcing where the money's coming from. I got the money in the bank, but just in case I had to borrow it from somewhere, I could do that. That makes this a lot easier. And another reason I use a hard money lender is they give me the rehab money as well. So they're lending on the property. I've already made a video about hard money lending, but just to recap. They give me a certain percentage of the purchase price and then give me a rehab budget that I draw upon as construction gets complete. It's awesome. For me, I don't think everybody uses it like this, but for me, I pay myself during construction. Don't tell anybody. So, I feel alive when I'm doing this. It's really excitement. It's not fear. I've done this before. I know it's going to work out deep down in my soul. However, I still need to talk out loud about it. I've always been a competitor. However, years ago I realized that it didn't really feel good to be competing against you, because the next day, after I beat you, or if I lost, it didn't really feel that good. So my competition nowadays is between me and me. I run worst case versus best case scenario. I don't do this just on properties. I think I do this in other situations in life. What's the worst that could happen? In this case with Brown House, I'd have to really find something wrong with this house that would eat up close to an additional $65,000 for me to walk away and break even. I already padded the rehab budget by about 30. So even if I find something that's horribly wrong, you know, like those DIY shows where they go to get into the wall and it's like, oh no, we found a body. We got to stop the whole project. We got to get the coroner involved and stuff like that. Well, I'm not saying that it would be that dramatic, especially because I cushioned the budget quite a bit. But even if I came across something like that, I have $65,000 before I'd lose. I don't want to be a loser. I'm competing with myself. So that's a worst case scenario. What's a best case scenario? Best case scenario is my numbers are really accurate. I put a $73,000 budget together for this house, and really in the back of my head, I play this game. Really in the back of my head, I'm hoping to spend $33,000 put in my pocket. Reality is, it'll probably be closer to 50, so I'll put 23 in my pocket. What are some of the other values and benefits of a particular house I'm going for? Earlier I said I compared it to Sullivan House, and I'm paying $100,000 more for this house than I did Sullivan. It's a hard pill to swallow. So I have to look for some other areas so I can feel good about the Brown House. So what are some other values and benefits besides cash? At the Brown House, when I went over there to do the walkthrough and come up with my rehab budget, it was so warm when I walked in because the furnace works. That means all the pipes are good. Someone was actually living there up until about a month ago. I don't know how, because all the floors are like... However, the gas is on, the electric's on, the water's on, the furnace looks fine, the water heater looks okay. I put it down on my budget, but still. So the benefit is, I'm going to be able to go over into a warm house and work on the inside. No exterior work is required. That is some serious benefits. So in my head and out loud, I went over worst case. I think I went over best case. And now let me go over realistic case. I think this is how the numbers would work out. We're going to be closing on March 5th. If I could close sooner, even better. If I can close sooner, I'm showing the people that I'm working with, the title company, the lawyers, the realtors, everybody else, that I'm a man of my word. And I try to close as fast as possible. I have a goal of less than 90 days to have this house completed. I already have the exit strategy set up that I'm going to refinance it. I think I can get at least $2,400. There's a good possibility of 25 or 26. I have another house in the same town, or same township, that I get 2,500, very similar, just has an extra half bath. So I'm going to get out of this, refinance it, put a couple dollars in my pocket, get all my money back, and then repeat. Buy, rehab, refinance, rent, repeat. Burr! Here's some of the realistic numbers, or I shouldn't say realistic. These are what I think are right in between best and worst case and would probably work out pretty close to these numbers. 182 purchase price, $50,000 for all the work I'm going to go and do in there, including some of the carrying costs. $15,000 going in and out for closing costs. $247,000 all in. I'm hoping to get an appraisal at least 310. I think I put down 325 because I like to groom him into going a little bit higher, but we'll see. I think 310. So I'm looking about 63,000. What is that? That's a pocket. That's 63. However, I don't put the 63 in my pocket. I've told you about that. I build equity, so I'll put that $63,000 in equity in the house towards our retirement. So I want to close on this. I want to let you guys know that ultimately, after I think all the way through and I talk out loud about all these things, I have to remember a couple things to make myself feel a little bit better. I'm not patting myself so hard in the back that I'm breaking my arm. But the experience that I have now shows me that I have the ability to do this stuff. The relationships that I've established between lenders, title companies, lawyers, appraisers, people that are in the business, my peeps that I've made a video, shout out to my peeps, my contractors, subcontractors, things like that. All these relationships that I've established, I didn't have when I did Sullivan. I was going in there kind of blind with some stuff. How am I going to get the plumbing fixed? What do I do with the town building department? I don't know. And, I have that experience now. So my abilities are worth something. So when I initially get into that fear, like I was talking about, like buyer's remorse, analysis, paralysis, and I'm going to take a deep breath, write it down, call some friends, and then make a video.